CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today is week 20 of our RYT 200 registered yoga teacher training, the 200-hour Yoga Alliance accredited course. Each week we have a pose of the week to highlight. The pose of this week is chair pose. Chair pose is a great pose. It's like athletic position. So whether you're a basketball player, whether you're a skier, it all starts with chair pose. And it's in some ways cross-training. So without further ado, let's start with a nice centering. I'm just gonna organize my routine a little bit. We're live on YouTube, so blips and bloopers. If kiddos mess up the studio, then the studio is messed up. So let's just take a moment and take a few breaths together. You can sit crisscross applesauce. You can be fancy in lotus, easy seat Ukatasana, or however you want. You can have your palms face up to be open, rolling the shoulders back, relaxing the neck from side to side. In this relaxed state, we've sort of had the good vibes to bring our guru of water and wellness, Peter Icavello, from the boonies of Connecticut to New York.
Hi, everyone.
And I'm just giving you a hard time. He's in Westport, Connecticut. I hear that they have running water.
Some parts. It's actually, well, but where I actually live, Weston, has well water. Sometimes it's not running. And we have outhouses now, I'm just joking. We have a big house, a 4,700 square foot house with outhouses.
That's the yogi part,
yeah,
the
exactly.
minimalist part.
Exactly.
So I will give the floor to Peter to lead us in a centering.
So today we'll do a centering, and then the peak pose of the day is Ukatasana. Sometimes I even have trouble. Utanasana, Ukatasana. I've always had difficulty separating those two. So Ukatasana, chair pose. Okay? So we're going to do a couple of different variations of chair pose. We're going to do a balancing chair as well. We're going to do a sequence that honors chair pose and show you how you can transition. So with that said, envision yourself in this pose, in this peak pose. Without attachment to how you want it, don't let it be, not a pretty, exactly how they do it in yoga journal or anything like that. Just envision your body arriving in chair pose without effort, without muscling, just easing and molding and forming into your version of this shape. Because that's what we're doing. Yoga is about you, union with yourself and others, and how you arrive in each pose without attachment.
I just want to add something. So what Peter is doing, guiding us into chair with asking us to visualize it, this is something that really rings true for me. I always say to people, everything happens twice. First in visualization and second in actualization. Of course, it's not a hard science, and you know, my kids will give me 1,000 examples of that not being true, but basically, to set yourself up for success, start with visualizing yourself doing it right. And when you start getting that negative self-talk, like, oh, it's gonna feel like a squat, or I can't do it, or my posture's so bad, or whatever, just don't give attention to those thoughts and just visualize yourself doing it. So whether it is a spelling test or chair pose, or going into that board room and nailing it and advocating for that raise you want, it all it increases your chances of procurement when you start with visualization and you think about everything happens twice, first in visualization and second in actualization.
Right. We have to see ourselves, then we have to see ourselves doing it, right? Without fear or attachment, just arriving. said, let's begin to close our eyes or have a soft gaze. And as you arrive in Ukatasana, easy pose, crisscross applesauce, just imagine yourself being here now, without attachment. And then see yourself, just as a visualization, just see yourself in chair pose. If you've seen pictures of it, if you've done it before, just see yourself in chair pose. Some people hate chair pose. It is actually will tell you, my favorite. Why? Because it's grounding and it's 100% body. And guess what? You're strengthening, when I say 100%, you're strengthening your core, strengthening your legs, strengthening your arms, your chest, your shoulders, and you're also, depending on which version you choose with your eyes closed or open, you also can practice balance and presence and going inside. I actually say practice chair pose a day, 1 minute a day. It keeps your whole entire body strong and centered.
I just want to say for real, it is his favorite pose, because a lot of yoga teachers, they say every pose is their favorite, but when he walked into the studio today, I said, the pose of the week is your favorite pose, and he said, oh, chair pose. Like it wasn't even us. There's not even a close second.
No, there isn't. And a lot of times I lead with chair, and she can tell you that. We've done a lot of chair pose together, so Ashley's an expert at chair. And then from here, let's begin to close our eyes again. Or you can have a soft gaze, eyes can be open. So just know, it's your choice whether you want, whichever experience you want, eyes open, eyes closed, it's all the same. And then I'll ask you to soften the space between your eyebrows by relaxing your eyelids. And then as you relax your eyelids, begin to part your lips to relax your jaw. And as you relax your jaw, notice what comes over the face. The face just begins to soften. It's our first point of contact with the world, is our face. Each morning we get up, we're looking around, we're opening our eyes, we take on information from the computer, our cell phones, tablets, while we're driving. It's the first point of contact. Oh, so much stimulation. Look at all the senses that are there, our hearing, our sense of smell, sense of taste, our sight, feel. Our five senses are awakened right in our face. Can't do that with your hands. If you can smell through your hands, that's one thing. You can smell through your feet. I think it's the opposite, smelly feet, right? So, a little yogi joke there. But just notice that when all of our senses are awakened and heightened right in our face. Don't take that for granted. Relax the chest by drawing your shoulders down and away from your ears. Draw the elbows in to soften through the shoulders. Pull the belly, a gentle pull of the belly in to support your spine. And from here, inhale, fill the belly like a balloon. Exhale with a sigh as you land deeper into your seat. Inhale, fill the belly through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Pause. Then exhale through the mouth with a sigh, emptying that belly. Two more of those. Inhale, oxygenating our blood with fresh oxygen. Every cell in our body, in our being. Exhale, ridding our body of everything that does not serve us. Negative thoughts. We can't do chair. Attachment to what we want to achieve. Try to do things without attachment. Inhale. And then exhale and visualize yourself arriving into this pose with ease and forming and smiling into it. As even though you're cursing inside when you're doing it, just arriving into it. And on your next inhale, fill the belly. Expand the ribs, front, back, right side, left side. And breathe all the way up into your heart. And then exhale through the mouth from the heart, your ribs and belly. Dirga breath, 3-part yogic breath. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the rib cage, and then breathe all the way up into your heart. Exhale to the heart, ribs and belly. 3 more rounds of Dirga breath. Slowing it down. Inhale. And exhale. Now I want to do a breath practice this morning, if that's okay with our audience and you, Ashley.
I don't hear any complaints.
Yes. So what we'll do is we're going to keep the cycle of Dirga breath. However, we're going to make the exhale twice as long as the inhale. I will coach you through it. So as we inhale through the nose, fill the belly, fill the ribs and chest. Count to 4, 2, 3, and 4. Pause. We're going to exhale with a count of 8. Exhale through the mouth, count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause at the bottom of the breath. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pause. Contain the inhale. Contain. Sip in a little bit more air through the mouth. Exhale, count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Empty all of the air out of us. Contain the exhale. This is called an external kumbhak, or breath retention on the exhale. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pause. Contain internal kumbhak, or internal retention of breath. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more time in this practice. Inhale, fill the belly, ribs, and chest to a count of 4, 3, 2, and 1. Contain the breath, internal kumbhak. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Contain the exhale. And then very slowly come back to your normal cycle of breath. Why are we doing that? Why are we practicing? So as Ashley said, if you're visualizing yourself going into a meeting with your boss and you want to ask for a raise, ask for a different position, a bump up in salary, stepping into a board meeting, these internal and external kumbhaks really help create pause and space between our thoughts and can help with clarity as well. Same thing when we're approaching a very difficult, challenging pose like chair pose. And as we sustain it, it's the same type of situation. It's a visualization. And the breath is the bridge between the mind and body to provide ease, to provide clarity. Take a few more rounds of conscious breath. And then from here, Ashley, begin to allow the eyes to float open and just notice how you feel. Just notice. And I'm going to ask you to come onto your back. We'll start on our back today. Hug your knees to chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze. Draw your chin towards your knees to get a stretch. Yeah, get that stretch in the back body. Good. Now allow your elbows. Have your palms face down, shoulders away from the ears. Extend your legs toward the sky. Extend, extend, extend. Press your sacrum down, pull the belly in. Point and flex your feet. Why are we pointing and flexing our feet in dead bug? To start the lymphatic drainage, circulation. Now create some circles at the ankles. Circles, nice and slow, nice and slow. And then go in the opposite direction, which is a mind game sometimes.
Keeping my eyes open to check my feet so they don't cheat. Sometimes things get lost in communication.
Exactly, they sure do. Lost in translation, as they say. Now from here, hold the feet nice and still. Press the heels together, big toes together. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then from here, extend the arms toward the sky. Palms facing in towards one another, shoulders away from the ears. So pull the shoulders down a little bit more. Draw the hands down a little bit more, in line with the chest. No, the other way down, the other way, the other down.
This way.
Yeah, but not too far, in line with the chest. Yeah, now imagine squeezing your triceps into your ribs. This engages your core, pressing your sacrum down. Like if I slid my hand onto Ashley's lower back, that would be like feedback for her to press her sacrum down. So that requires a gentle pull of the belly. And you'll begin to see Ashley's face turn a little red as she's doing this pose. Why? Because dead bug, although it looks easy, is very challenging.
I also want to say to all the young people watching this might not seem so hard, but then, you go to an exercise class with seniors and they're laying on their back and they're like this when they're on their back. So, it doesn't happen in a day where you can lay on your back with your head touching the ground. These are little difficulties that accumulate over time. So if every day you lay on your back and your head can touch the ground, then you'll notice that one day where it feels tight, you can roll a towel or a blanket under your spine to really open it up, to a chest opener. There's no reason you can be 110. I don't know, Peter's an anatomy guru, so I'll ask him, is there a medical reason that your back has to curl with old
It's just called bad posture.
Yeah, so if you really do this every day, because how uncomfortable is that to be elderly and not even be able to lay down on your back, to have your neck floating because your back and your shoulders are curved. Have you seen that in
Oh my God, I have clients like that right now. 89-year-old client who I have to slide a pillow under his head when we do this. I have a 77-year-old client. His head feels so heavy for him when he lies on his back, so we slide a little block. He actually puts a yoga block under his when he does this. But he's able to get his back a little flatter and flatter and flatter because we work his posture. This is great for posture strength.
Yeah, so this is, just this, take a conference call like this if you can, because, you use it or lose it, and
That's right. Why not?
A little bit every day does a lot. You don't need to do 6 hours of yoga a day.
Nope. You can
5
just do this
minutes
for 5
a day,
minutes.
yeah, makes a huge, huge difference.
You can pick a pose every single day and do it for 5 minutes. That would be a great practice to embody each pose. Maybe that'll be the next 200 hour. Send us a video of you doing each pose for 5 minutes.
Honestly, that is more meaningful than a lot of the rigmarole.
Yes, it is.
In a lot of courses.
Now, hug your knees to chest by pulling your hands behind the knees. Yeah, get that stretch. Pull the knees, yes, to chest. Yeah, a little bit more. Beautiful, Ashley. Good, good, good. Get that stretch. Yeah, get that stretch. And then now from here, bring both arms out to the sides with your elbows bent. Cactus arms. Now, lower both knees over to the left. Press the back of your right shoulder down. Now, extend your legs to the left. Good, that gets the lower back. This is one way to help with that kyphosis, or when you feel like you're hunched over a little, where the neck is lifted off the ground. This is a great way to get a stretch along the chest, into the underarm, into the lat muscle, into the legs, into the hips, into the IT band. And then now from here, Ashley, bend both knees into your chest and then come up to center. Exhale over towards the right side. Ooh, we're gonna have to come off this mat.
Yeah.
She normally would extend her legs out, but that's okay.
Well, no, we'll do the real thing. Anyway, I'll come over here. We're off-roading.
Ooh, she did something. She did something illegal. She came off her mat. So,
Colored outside of the lines.
yeah, so yogis, please come off your mat when you did.
Should I straighten?
Yeah, straighten up the legs.
Okay.
Come off the mat needed. It's okay to come off your mat. Some people are so stuck on their mats. You know, we suffer from this. Am I allowed to come off my mat? Of course you are. The yoga mat is just a mat. Yes, it is for yoga, but most people don't have yoga mats and they still do yoga. There are parts of the world
sorry to interrupt, but I love to say yoga was invented before the yoga mat.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And then now from here, bend both knees. And then come up. And then give yourself one little hug there. And then come into a happy baby. Happy baby. Press your sacrum down. Pull the belly in. Good job, Ashley. Lift your head to tuck the chin. Press the back of the head down. Get that stretch. Now, reach back and grab the heels. Yeah, there you go. To stretch out that lower back and hamstring. Do you feel good stretching lower back and hammies? Good, good. All right, now, extend your arms toward the sky and then bring the legs toward the sky. Back to dead bug. Just for another few seconds here. Notice Ashley's all flushed and warmed up. We stretched out the spine. We stretched her out. We got her core engaged. Some lymphatic drainage. And we're doing a gentle, but yet challenging inversion. Now, Ashley, plant your feet onto the ground, and then have your hands come to the earth. Walk your feet back towards walk your heels back. Yeah, just graze your heels with your hands. And then now from here,
I'll just take off my socks
You
because
got
it's a little slippery.
you got it.
So we're gonna do a little move here, and then we'll be all organized. Okay. Now we're in business.
Yes.
It's a DIY yoga.
That's
Okay.
right. Now from here, arms alongside you.
Okay, so we're walking the heels.
Not too far, not too close.
Okay, not too close. Okay, like this.
And then from here, extend your hips toward the sky. And now, interlace your hands beneath you. Walk your elbows in just a little closer. Get that stretch in your chest. Now imagine I had my hands on top of your hips, 2 handles, and I'm pulling your hips up even higher. Good job, Ashley. Good job. Engage your glutes by squeezing your glutes together. Draw your shoulders away from your ears even more. Lift your chin so you can breathe. Opens up the trachea. What is the trachea? So you can breathe. Esophagus is the other tube, so you can eat. So if you feel like you can't breathe in your bridge pose, just lift your chin ever so slightly. Heels of the hands together, get that extra stretch in your chest. Plant your pinkies down onto the ground. And we're going to hold this pose for a few seconds. So we're going to find ease within this pose. How do we find ease? Come back to the 3-part yogic breath. Inhale, fill the belly, ribs and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs and belly. And I'm going to come over and make one little adjustment to Ashley. She's in this pose. May I have permission?
Sure.
It's an aesthetic adjustment.
Okay. We want to keep this PG.
All right, so I'm just going to slide my hand, if I can, under your lower back to lift your hips up just a bit higher. Good job. Now lift your chin so you can breathe a little bit more. Good job, Ashley. Good job, Ashley. Now, from here, begin to release the hold, and then slowly draw your hips to your earth, and then begin to draw your knees to chest. So we did an inversion and a back bend with our hips, just so that we can do our peak pose. So we fired up our glutes, fired up our hamstrings. Would you say that Ashley's warmed up? I would say. You can ask her. I know she's warmed up because the color in her face changed ever so slightly. And now, Ashley, I'll ask you to come over onto either your right or left side, your choice, and then gently press yourself up back into Sukhasana. Back into Sukhasana. So you see, some yoga classes start with the traditional sun salutation, which is fine. Some yoga classes start on your back. You have to be able to read the room. And sometimes I say the best yoga class you can teach is from where you are that day. If you're feeling tired and you want to ease into the class, if you're feeling a little tired mentally and you have a lot of students and you want to ease yourself into the class, this is a great way to center. And not that I'm tired, I'm wide awake, but I'm just easing into this class with Ashley because we're going to do so many different variations of chair that she's going to kick me out of here later.
I'm stuck on live on YouTube, so
Exactly. Yes.
I have to.
You can still.
I have to perform.
Exactly.
The only way.
That's right.
Through it is to go through it.
That's right. When hell is facing you, just go right through it. Get a little burn in the butt and keep going. Right?
That's for a good cause.
That's right. Now inhale the arms out and overhead. Exhale, begin to rotate to the right so that the left hand comes on the outside of the right thigh. Beautiful, Ashley. Draw your right shoulder down and away from the ear. Good. Left hand behind you. Good. Look over your left shoulder. Good job, Ashley. Bring your right shoulder down even more. Inhale. And exhale, rotate to a little more. Beautiful. Good job, Ashley. You feel a good stretch in the outer edge of your right hip, left hip. And then from here, inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Exhale, rotate to the opposite side. Shoulders away from the ears, lift up to the crown of the head. Slide your right hand in toward the body just a bit more. And then from here, inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Just come to a fold. Slide your elbows beneath your shoulders. This always feels good. And then from here, slide the hands beneath the shoulders as you press yourself up. And then slide the hands behind you, bring the hands behind you. And then from here, begin to plant your feet onto the ground. So we're going to do another back bend. Now, the hands are nice and strong. Maybe you want to come onto your mat, so let's do the other way. This is optional. Fingertips can be pointed towards you, pointed away, or pointed behind you. So optional. Depends on how you're feeling in your shoulders that day. If you have shoulder injury, I would always suggest pointing the fingers back behind you. If your shoulders are great, you can point them in towards you. And then from here, belly pulls in, press down through the feet, and then inhale, lift the hips just an inch up off the earth, and hover.
Like this?
Yeah, just hover, yeah. And then drop the head back ever so slightly. Good. So we're not going for the full back bend because of what we discussed earlier. So inhale, press into your feet, exhale, lift up even more. That's
like
it.
Table.
This is your,
Like table.
like table, reverse table. That's it. Inhale, press down through your feet, and then lift your hips just a bit more, just an inch. That's it, Ashley. This is your pose of the day. Breathe. Inhale.
It's like it's a whole tea party. We have the table reversed and we have the chair.
That's right. Exactly. Now we just got to do, now there has to be, we have to find a pose that's called cup.
Yeah.
Another one called plate.
Yeah, I think both
Spoon.
could be cup.
Spoon. There is a banana pose. We could do that. There is shrimp pose. We could do that. There is frog. So it depends on what you want to eat that
yeah,
day.
it's a French meal.
Exactly. And then now from here, lower your hips toward the earth. For you vegans out there, we apologize. We're
talking about the gummy frogs,
Yeah,
the Harry Potter
Exactly.
chocolate frogs.
Exactly. Now begin to come onto your hands and knees. Let's do some cat cows. So we're gonna do regular tables. So we do some cat cows with your toes tucked. Why? To stretch out the lower spine. Good. Lift that mid back up towards the sky. Imagine I had a little handle in your mid back and I'm really pulling it up. Yes, even higher. Good. Scooping, lifting your chest, lifting your heart. Exhale around your spine. A couple more. So yoga is a lot about spinal health. Healthy spine, healthy body, healthy mind. A few little tidbits here that I've learned.
And actually, for the Ukrainians that we supported, we did a lot of spinal health, and when in combat, having spinal flexibility can make a fall less of an injury.
Oh yes.
When your body can bend and mold more. So I mean, it's obviously not a complete solution, and I try to be really careful. A lot of yogis will say everything is a cure for everything, and I'm not saying that it's a cure, and we are all prone to injury, but
that's right.
But especially for people in active combat or athletes, having a flexible spine greatly changes a fall that someone recovers from, no problem, versus a fall that results in injury.
It also could be preventative for long-term, health problems.
Yeah.
And then come to a neutral spine. Inhale, tuck your toes under, spread your fingertips wide. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now press your chest towards your knees. And I'm not going to keep you here long because I see the slide. Step your feet forward towards your hands. Forward fold, hug the opposite elbows, turn your heels out ever so slightly. Yeah, engage your glutes, back body. Let your head be heavy, actually. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. And just hold this for a few. So we did some effort, now we're coming into some ease before we go back to effort. So Ukatasana, standing forward fold, can be a very relaxing and nourishing pose for most people. Release the hand toward the earth and just relax here. Let the head go. Let the head even be heavier, actually. Draw your chin to chest for a moment. Yeah, there you go. There's the head being even heavier. Stretches out the back of the neck. Now slide your hands, bend your knees, slide the hands beneath the toes. Lift the toes. And then from here, draw your elbows close towards your shins, bend your knees, forehead towards your knees. And then inhale, keep your head and elbows right where they are as you begin to straighten out your legs. Big stretch in your hammies. Good job, Ashley. Breathe into that space. Now we're getting into a little bit more effort. Inhale, exhale. Now slide the hands out from beneath the feet, the toes, and just relax into your standing forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift. Press into the feet. Exhale, mountain pose. Drawing down hands and arms alongside you. Palms can either be facing in towards the body or facing forward. Yogi's choice. Lifting up through the crown of the head, pressing down to the feet. Squeezing your thighs together to engage your pelvic floor. Shifting your weight forward and back. And then coming to your center, finding your center in your mountain pose. Believe it or not, mountain pose is great for what's called proprioception, or learning or becoming aware of your body in space. It's a great way to be able to center, to strengthen your core, strengthen your legs, your glutes, your hamstrings, and also to provide some relaxation and centering and presence. So many benefits of mountain pose. So many benefits. And then inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Exhale, slide bend your knees, chair pose. So we're going to start as if we're on a bar stool. Remember those way back in 2019, we used to go to bars before the pandemic? So just From here, Ashley, extend your arms directly out in front. I'm gonna make this a little gentle, this chair pose. So extend your arms out in front, parallel with the earth. Palms facing in towards one another, or, so what we'll do in this chair pose, we're gonna take a couple of little bends out of Ashley's lower back here. She's probably feeling her lower back. See, that cue already. So if you have some students in your class, and you don't wanna call out one student, obviously, you can talk to the whole class by just saying, slight bend in your knees, and then shifting your weight into your heels, dropping your sacrum down as you pull the belly in. That takes that little curve right out of the lower back. And then I want Ashley's shoulder blades to work, so I'm gonna ask her just to draw her shoulder blades in. And I just do this, so that the student can get the shoulder blades in towards one another. Good job, Ashley. Inhale, and exhale. Now, shift your weight into your heels by lifting your toes. And then bend your knees even more, shifting your hips back behind you. More, 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 more. Sit down. More.
He just wants to see me fall over.
Now lower the toes toward the earth. Palms facing in towards one another. Shoulders away from the ears. Take that tension out of the lower back by dropping your sacrum down. Beautiful, Ashley. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze those thighs in towards one another. Beautiful. Hands rest alongside you. Stand right back up in mountain pose. So that's the first version of chair pose today. First version.
Sorry, just into my chair, I noticed that. That bothered me so.
So I'm going to ask permission only once. Is it okay if I come and make some adjustments?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That's really the benefit of private. So for all of you getting your teacher training degree, I recommend to go into a studio as part of it, or if you're teaching, to try to do one-on-ones because that's really the best way to get alignment.
Yeah, I actually transitioned from classes to one-on-ones. I do a lot of one-on-ones. So if anybody out there in YouTube land want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me through ShareLove.Fund or leave comments here, and I'd be happy to speak to anyone about cultivating a one-on-one practice and how easy and you can transition some of your students into that.
Peter is a proud owner. He's he's the humble owner because he doesn't even say, but he's the founder and owner of Presence Wellness in Westport, Connecticut, and it's awesome. Where he has a studio where he does one-on-one.
I only do one-on-ones.
You can find him there, and that is, I was gonna say a best kept secret, but it's not so much a secret.
You're
He
letting
has
the whole world know.
25 years experience, and people are hunting him down, so
Yes,
it's
they
good.
are.
It's good stuff. And even a few sessions can be a game changer for the
some
practice.
people, yes. I always say, like, when the students are in class and they're asking a lot of questions, I say, I give them a little bit taste of what it's like to work with me one-on-one. Maybe after class if I have some time, especially if you're starting out, or a couple of them that might have similar questions, then I'll say to them, why don't you seek me out one-on-one? We can do a private session, half hour, 45 minutes, or an hour. Your choice. So that's what I give them, your choice.
Yeah, that's a great.
And if it's warm weather season, you don't have to rent space from the studio. You can meet them outside in their backyard or meet them at their home. Make it easy for you, accessible for you, and make Venmo a part of your life.
That's it's a great business tip because it's not easy making it as a yogi. So we have to share our trade secrets with each other. And that's part of the course is to learn those trade secrets.
Yes. So Ashley, turn your heels out ever so slightly. And then from here, extend your arms forward. Inhale. Exhale, begin to sit down into your chair. So we were in a bar stool before. Now we're going into a chair. So I'm going to come around here and I'm just going to ask you to drop your sacrum down and pull the belly in. Take the roundness out of here. I'm going to just place my hand on your belly and just so that we can take the roundness out. Yes. Don't be afraid.
Some parts of it don't go anymore.
Exactly. Now you're going to take your arms parallel with the earth, the other arm too, and then draw your shoulder blades in. Yes. Chin parallel with the earth. So you see we got that tension out of Ashley's lower back. And then imagine if you had a tail, Ashley, a long dragon tail, and it's heavy. You want to drop it down even more. So sit back more. Now shift your weight back just a bit. Yes. Keep your toes down. Shift your weight back just a bit. Good.
I will fall.
You won't. You won't. I'll be right here. So shift your weight back. Draw your hips back towards me. Good.
Sometimes it is good to have support so then you can actually find your limit
Exactly.
without falling.
And you can go back even further by lowering your toes down. Keep your
like
toes,
I
keep
can't.
your toes down. No, keep your toes down. Keep your toes down. Now watch. We'll do it together.
He believes in me, but sometimes too much.
Watch. Keep your toes down.
Okay.
Keep your toes down. And then
I'm
sink,
gonna have to
sink,
lose
sink,
the leg
sink,
warmers.
sink, sink,
This
sink,
is getting
sink back.
intense.
We'll do this together. Watch.
No rest for the weary.
Exactly. We'll do this together. Watch. So you're gonna look down at your feet.
Okay.
Right? You're gonna sink yourself. You know what? I'll move back, you move forward. So you're gonna I'm just gonna come here. You're gonna sink your hips back, and then you're gonna feel a little curve. Drop your sacrum down first, lean forward, sit back more, and then lean back, pull the belly in, lift your chest, and then sink back more into your chair.
So here I think like the trick is to get back further. You can hinge a little forward so that you don't feel like you're gonna fall. Then when
Exactly.
you get back enough, then you can
Lift your chest.
lift it, hinge, yeah, and tuck it under.
Beautiful. So, and we can get even deeper if we want to. And then now we're gonna take this chair and add a little balance by lifting our heels. Just an inch. Hover. Draw the arms alongside you. Hinge over at the hips, lift your heels even more. Lift them more, bend your knees, and extend the arms overhead.
It's interesting because that works different muscles. Like
Yes.
this is.
Extend your arms straight out and overhead. Beautiful. This is skier's pose. Front chair pose. Breathe. Now, shall we leave Ashley here for the rest of class? Breathe, Ashley. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. Lower your heels down. Come back to chair pose. Drop your sacrum down. Belly in. Arms alongside you. Beautiful. Draw your shoulder blades in. Now bring your arms into locust arms. Yes. Now lift your toes even higher. Lift your heels, and bend over at the hips even more. Beautiful. So imagine I'm pulling your hands back and you're extending forward. Bend your knees even more. Good job, Ashley. This is a great way to fire up chair pose. You could do a whole entire sequence just in chair. Lower your heels, extend the arms directly out in front. Press into your feet, mountain pose. I bet you if Ashley had a heart rate monitor on, her heart rate would be through the roof. So if you want to add some heat to your classes, you want to add some fire in your chair pose, here's two variations. You want to add some balance and presence to your chair pose, these are variations on chair. That's all we did is doing some variations on chair. Now we're going to take chair up a couple of more notches. How do we do that? So I'm going to ask Ashley to face the camera, and I will face the camera as well. We'll do this together. This is not easy. These are not easy. They're challenging, but they're great poses. If you want, we're going to do one little thing that I always do in chair. If you want your clients to be able to feel their pelvic floor, so the older we get, right, 21 and older, I won't say ages, the older we become, sometimes the less we're so disconnected from our center.
Especially after kids, postpartum.
And if a woman has had a C-section or any type of trauma here with cancer or hysterectomies or anything, they lose so much of their pelvic floor. And in men, we lose it too. If we've had bladder cancer and stomach stuff going on, we tend to lose touch. Or if we're just sitting all day in an office, we're cutting off blood supply. Not in a tourniquet form, but in a way that it's limiting. So we want to get back in touch with our pelvic floor and also help with lower back problems and our posture and eliminate that forward neck. I'm going to ask Ashley to take a block. You can use, this is for you. You can either take a cork block or a foam, whichever, and you're going to place this on your upper inner thighs. Beautiful. And the block becomes your anchor. What does that mean? So when you squeeze your inner thighs into the block, it automatically engages your pelvic floor. You already automatically feel like right above your pubic bone, that area engaged. You feel that?
Yeah, and it also gets the glutes engaged, and I always tell when I'm teaching, I say like zip it up, and so having to squeeze the block kind of pulls these muscles out and in and like zips up. Zips up the front.
Zips up the front, and also zips up the back. So
Yeah,
great way. This is a great way to get in touch and also to be able to keep the muscles on from your core through your glutes and inner thighs on. Very, very important. For me in my classes, I consider core from where the bottom of the glutes meet the hamstrings, right to below the rib cage. That's what I consider core. So that means our psoas, hip flexor, which runs through the front, our glutes, which is the opposite of and then also the upper part of the thighs, and all of our lower back muscles and core muscles, right? I don't think of core of just stomach. Most people do. So what we're engaging here are two muscles that oppose each other. Psoas, glutes. Two other muscles. Transverse abdominis, which we don't go over in the 200-hour training, and multifidus, which we talk about maybe in the 300-hour training. Those are two muscles that are at the base of your spine. For physical therapists or massage therapists are out there and taking this class, you know what those muscles, you know where those muscles are located, you know what those muscles will do. We won't discuss them any further. So from here, you're going to anchor into the block in your mountain pose. Let's find our center in mountain pose. So we're going to turn our heels slightly out. That also engages our our gluteus medius, outer edge of the glutes. And then from here, we're going to squeeze into the block by softening our knees. You're going to lift up through the crown. Not too much of a bend in the knees, not too much. Come up a little bit higher. Yeah, there you go. Now, squeeze into that block. Engage your pelvic floor. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. And then lift up through the crown of the head. Nice. And then bring the sternum back just a bit. Yes, there you go. There you go. Palms facing forward. Very different experience doing mountain pose with a block, which I highly suggest. So we're going to do a flow with the block right where it is. Oh, Jesus, how are we going to do this? Very simple. We're going from mountain pose. Inhale. Exhale, chair pose. Arms directly out in front. You know what? Now I'm going to do it too.
He's jealous I'm getting all the benefits.
That's right. I'm very jealous. Well, this is my favorite pose, so I'm going to do it along with you to show you it's my favorite. So we're going to lift our toes, shift our weight into our heels, drop our sacrum down even more. More. Beautiful. And notice how your shoulders came forward. Lift your chest, lift your heart, pull the belly in. Really good squeeze of that belly. Anchor into the block, lower your toes. Inhale, arms reach out and overhead, sink down a bit more. Breathe, inhale. Exhale. Now lift your heels. Arms come alongside you. Lift your heels even higher. Hinge at the hip, just a bit. Inhale. Exhale, smile. It's not that hard. And then inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, draw the shoulders over the knees. So Superman arms in chair pose. Keep reaching forward with the hands and arms. Keep reaching back with the hips. Get that stretch like you're in a down dog. Lift your heels even higher. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, draw the arms alongside you. Beautiful. Now, draw the hands to heart center, lower the heels. Beautiful. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sit right back down, and then rotate so that your right elbow comes on the outside of your left knee. Don't bend over so far, and then bring your left hip back. Lift your chest and smile. Breathe. Inhale, lift up through the crown. Hands to heart center. Exhale, rotate so that your left elbow comes on the outside of the right knee. Draw your hips back. Square your hips. Look to your left. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, fold at the hip. Ukatasana. So we just did a flow in chair pose. Is that a vinyasa? I bet you most of you will say no.
Then you'll hurt his feelings, so don't say that.
So a vinyasa is what? Transition from pose to pose. Did we just do transitions? How many poses did we do there? We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 poses. You're saying, wait a second, no. Yes, we did. We did chair pose. Lifted our heels. We did skiers pose. We did skiers pose with Superman arms. That's 3 poses right there. Oh, we did 5 poses. Then we did mountain pose. Came up and did mountain pose. That's 4. And then we did a rotating chair pose with the block between our thighs on each side. 6 poses. 7th pose, Ukatasana, with the block between our thighs. Inhale, half lift. 8th pose. Press into your feet. Exhale, rise up to stand. Mountain pose. Close your eyes or have a soft gaze. Keep the block right where it is. How are we doing so far?
Great.
A lot of strength. See the redness coming over her? So chair pose is amazing, right? You could do so much. You could do a whole class centered on chair pose. Whole class. And then from here, let's take the block. Just place it off to the side, not going too far. And what we'll be doing is, see, we're going to go from awakening our feet to balancing in chair pose. So we did a little balance, right, as well. Very important to cultivate balance and awareness. That's why we lift our toes ever so slightly. So some people that can't balance on one leg, you can have elderly people specifically just lift their heels. And you can reach your hands out in front, like you could be a support. Like I do with my elderly clients, I just take the hands out like this and I tell them to lift. And then I release one hand at a time. I do this so they develop trust. They develop a little trust in themselves. And that really awakens their feet. We're so out of touch. As the older we become, we're so out of touch with certain parts. We just take things for granted. We get out of bed, we take our feet for granted. We don't realize that our feet do so much for us every single day.
And also elderly shoes, the soles get thicker and thicker, so I don't really understand. I mean, I guess that helps
For support.
For support, but then it's also, because walking barefoot does so much sensory-wise, so the thicker the cushion in the shoe, the less, the less feedback they're getting from walking.
100%. So true, actually, so true. All right, so from here we go. Smiling and having fun, right? So we envisioned ourselves in regular chair pose, but we took this a little further and did different variations on chair pose. So the next chair pose we're going to do, we're going to add a little bit more to it. So notice that we put the block down. Now we're in touch, right? Somewhat in touch with our pelvic floor, somewhat in touch with our inner thighs and core a little bit more, somewhat in touch how the muscles in our lower back work. So from here, inhale, exhale, chair pose. Inhale, hands heart center. Exhale, left foot lifts, left ankle over right knee. So glue the ankle to knee, glue it. Draw your right hip slightly back. And then from here, begin to hinge over at the hip just a bit. So now you're getting a stretch. So this is figure 4 chair pose. You could do different arm variations if you'd like. Oops, see I'm falling out of my chair already. You could do different arm variations if you'd like. You can even, if you're feeling comfortable, you can even lift your heel a little, lower, if you want to.
That's pogo stick chair pose.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, there's so many different things you can do, but for our purposes today, I'm just going to hinge over at the hip. And then from here, we're going to hinge just a bit more. And you're going to just hold this heel, lift our chest, we're going to smile. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Inhale. And on your exhale, slowly lower your left foot down, come right back into mountain pose. So notice how we just went from most people just go from one side to the next without even realizing how they got there. Go from one side, come back to mountain pose, center and integrate, and then transition to the other side. So inhale, arms directly out front, exhale, chair pose. Inhale, hands heart center. Exhale, right foot lifts off the earth. Right ankle glues to left knee. Press your left knee down. Right knee down. And then glue your right ankle into your left thigh or knee. Hinge over at the hip. And breathe here. The softer the breath, the easier the balance. Inhale.
Sometimes when people struggle, they hold their breath, and that makes it harder. So always breathe through the struggle.
Inhale.
Just say bring it on, and that kind of makes it not so bad.
Exhale. Inhale, lower that right foot down. Exhale,
just go up and then down.
So notice that we did the left side, and then we did mountain pose. We did the right side. Now we're doing Ukatasana. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift, press into your feet. Exhale, rise up to stand. Arms alongside you. Mountain pose to integrate. So now we'll do a flow. Not going to use the blocks, but we'll do a little flow. A chair pose flow. Holy Jesus. So we're going to add everything up together. We're going to move a little fast, add everything up. So you can either do
This is like Better than his birthday, better than like the day
It is
his
a
daughter was born. God bless her. Tied with that. Tied with being a grandpa.
Yep.
Don't be surprised if on our course list shows up like a 30-hour chair, pose, bicep.
Exactly. So everybody's probably just heavy breathing out there. Ashley's breathing very heavy, but this is
He's just getting started.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up here. We're just getting started. So from mountain pose, inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Lift, lift, lift. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, lift your heels. Bend over at the hip. Extend your arms out in front. Lift the heels higher, higher, higher. Breathe. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Arms alongside you. Lift your heels even higher. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Lower your heels down. Extend the arms directly out in front. Inhale. Exhale. Arms up and overhead. Sit back in your chair even further. Inhale. Hands to heart center. Exhale. Fold at the hip. Draw your right elbow on the outside of your left thigh. Beautiful. Bring your left hip, your right hip slightly back. Beautiful. Lift your chest. Inhale. Draw the body and hands to center. Exhale. Left elbow on the outside of the right thigh. Look over to the right. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, lift the heels into chair pose, floating chair. Extend the arms directly out in front. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, hands to heart center. Lower the heels. Left ankle over right knee. Beautiful. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Lower the left foot down.
Okay.
Exhale. Come right back into chair pose again.
There we go.
Put the heels up. Extend the arms forward. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, lower the heels down, hands to heart center. Right foot lifts. Right ankle over left knee. Beautiful. Press that down. Nice and easy. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, right foot down. Exhale, forward fold. You did it! So we just put it all together.
So fun.
See? It's much more challenging when you're explaining each pose to do it, and it's less challenging to actually go through the flow.
He's trying to say he did a better job than me. I'm just trying to break through that euphemism.
No, it's not. You did a great job.
You did a great job explaining it and doing it.
So did you.
There's the battle of the battle of the teachers.
No.
So you guys have to vote after this.
No battle. There's never a battle.
It's a friendly competition.
Inhale, hands to shins.
It's
Press
the
into your
warrior
feet.
thing.
Exhale, rise up, stand. Back to mountain pose. Close your eyes or have a soft gaze. Notice if your heart rate's up there a little, Ashley. Notice if you feel a little bit more open, a little bit more stretched. Or like, are we doing this shit again?
Okay, so that wasn't for YouTube monetization.
wanna-
That was sugar. He said
Yes.
sugar.
Are we doing this sugar again?
No, because we're, no sugar, no gluten.
Sugar, exactly.
We'll do the stevia again.
Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hands to heart center. Rotate so that your right elbow's on the outside of your left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, rotate the body to center. Come back to mountain pose. Inhale. Extend the arms out in front. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, hands heart center. Rotate so that the left elbow's on the outside of the right thigh. Inhale, rotate the hands to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, left foot lifts on top of the right thigh. Beautiful. Fold at the hip. Now this time, hands to heart center. Rotate so that your left elbow comes onto the bottom of your left foot. Beautiful. And then lower the left foot down. Inhale. Exhale back to mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms out and overhead. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale. Right foot comes on top of the left thigh. Inhale, fold at the hip. You can stay right here. This is just an offering. right elbow on the bottom of the right foot. Just tap it, inhale. Exhale, rotate the body center, lower the right foot down, forward fold. Beautiful, inhale, half lift. Press the feet, exhale, rise up to stand. Mountain pose, we're done with chair pose.
Oh.
Good job.
Thank you so much, that was so fun. I feel like we were with Mr. Miyagi, the master.
No.
And he's gonna catch some flies after that, but hopefully we don't have any.
I did bring my chopsticks. So how do you feel?
I feel really great, and my biggest takeaway was how much the body resists the movement. Like we think that, because when we started, I couldn't go down very far, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna fall over. And then by the end, I was going down really far, and what I realized is so much of ability and inability really is in the mind. There's a whole science behind that. Sports psychology exists as a science, and especially with older people, because there is the fear of falling. With that, I say sometimes fear is protective, so you don't need to go crazy, but you could practice chair pose actually with a chair underneath you. That way, if you go down a little too far and you can't have somebody to support you, you know, the chair can support you. But that was my biggest takeaway of it seemed irrational that I would be able to do more as class progressed with fatigue, and I feel like the reason why I was able to go deeper into it as class progressed was because it was my mind limiting me before, making me feel that I was going to fall over. So confidence is key. That's my takeaway on that. So let us know how you felt about it. You can give your comments on YouTube or your comments on the RYT 200 in Teachable. ShareLove.Fund/train to enroll.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to unwind our hips because the hips are all wound up, right? So I'm going to ask you to come into a down dog. We're going to be here for just a brief moment. So press your chest towards your knees in this down dog. And then inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, draw your right knee to right wrist onto the ground. Right knee, right wrist. Onto the ground. Yep. And then bring your right ankle over to your left wrist. Beautiful.
It doesn't really go so
As
far.
far as it wants to go. Now, from here, untuck the toes of the left foot. And then from here, just hang here for a moment. Just hang here for a moment. And as you settle in, begin to walk your hands on top of your thigh and ankle. Right hand on top of the thigh, left hand on top of the ankle. And just arch back for a moment. Good. And then from here, begin to fold at the hip as you walk your hands directly out in front. Make a pillow for yourself if necessary. And just fold at the hip. So here's the benefit of doing a little one-on-one, a little what you can do for your client in a one-on-one. So making the adjustments as we did in chair pose, you can make adjustments to your clients as they're in their calming poses, or in this case, Ashley's pigeon, right? Or Ukatasana.
It's really the one-on-one that gets people kind of addicted, and that really builds your clientele.
Yes, yes. You know, and you can have, again, I have people that do a lot of virtual one-on-one clients. You can do that too.
And then you can address specific injuries too. And
Sure.
injury.
So just come into your pigeon pose. Would you like a blanket under your forehead, or can you make a pillow for yourself?
I'm fine.
You're fine. So I'm just going to come over and ask permission. Actually, may I make a slight adjustment to you as you're in your pigeon pose? So what's a nice thing to do is you can take your client and then you could massage the back of her neck as I'm doing here. You want to, in a one-on-one. Just give some length. And you can take one hand on the lower back, one hand, and then I'm not going to push down. I'm pushing this way. Let me come on the opposite side. Again, a lot of teachers push down. I don't recommend it because of the knees. I like to kind of just elongate the spine. Sorry about that. So I take one hand, hook it, like the heel of the hand, hook it onto the sacrum a little, and then kind of push it that way towards the left heel, and then take the upper spine and then push it up. So you see how we just gave actually some length?
I also want to say it's important to know what you don't know. So, Peter's a licensed massage therapist and he's saying he would never push down on someone's spine. If you're just a yoga teacher and you've done this RYT 200, that's only 30 hours of yoga anatomy, and that's the whole body, just 30 hours. So, don't apply pressure if you don't know what you're doing. And he's saying, in his experience, he would never press down on someone's spine.
Yeah, a
You
lot
would
of people
just
press
guide the
down.
spine.
I don't. I just guide it to open, because yoga's about length, and if you push down, the first reaction is for the spine or the body to push back up. So it's like a reflex. So if I were to push down, like she's okay now, but if initially I want to go push down, there'll be a reflex. That ruins the whole posture. You want them to stay relaxed. You ask permission, you ask for the invitation, they give you permission, they give you the invitation to come in, and you're not pushing at all. You're just kind of just suggesting the spine to open. And look how we got her to relax further on her own.
Yeah,
she used her own gravity to get further down.
It's amazing, like just with that suggestion, because he didn't put pressure, he just kind of guided my spine up. I think I dropped down another 2 inches. So again, that was psychological. Some of us, I don't know, I guess I'm more anal retentive, and for that kind of person, there's so much more length and space we can gain. We don't realize how much we're holding on.
So yoga to me is the practice of creating space from the inside out. So a lot of times we feel like we don't have the capacity in our minds to do certain things, but our body is capable of so much more. And the limiting factor, as Ashley said before, was she spoke of the confidence of being able to get down further into her chair pose. The limiting factor was her mind, not her body. So as soon as she let the mind and the attachment go of not being able to get there, her body was able to do it.
I also find in classes, sometimes our body is just genuinely confused, like right, left, elbow, foot, twist, this or that. So sometimes the restriction that we feel preventing us from getting deeper into a pose, it's just that the brain is so busy trying to put the correct foot forward or back and stuff like that. So that's why a yoga class that is repetitive, the students can get deeper into the posture, because by the second or third time you're doing a posture, let's say eagle, for example, then the student actually understands the posture, so then they can focus on getting into it deeper instead of focusing on the technical aspects of getting there.
So, and just to piggyback off Ashley, what she's saying is I've experienced what she's saying in a yoga class where the teacher felt like they needed to do a lot of postures. Like a lot of times when you take vinyasa flow, hot yoga class, it's more about cardio than strength because you're doing so many more postures, and I get confused all the time. So you don't have to tell me right, left, right. Sometimes I don't even know where my brain or my head is, or my foot or my ankle is. So a lot of times they're already in Warrior One on the left side, and I'm still in Pigeon on the right. I'm being funny here, but it's happened to me a lot. So I highly suggest, especially with new students, especially as you're cultivating your flows and your classes and how you want to direct your classes, start out slow, perfect a slow movement, gain access to what it's like, embody each pose. You'll have favorites, you'll have not so favorites. The ones that are not your favorites, I would suggest you do them even more, because then they'll become your favorite poses. The poses that we stay away from the most are the ones that we need the most. So understand that. And you don't have to do it again, yoga journal version. Do it in your version, in your time, the way you feel comfortable. So whatever chair is very challenging for you, back bend wise, forward fold, whatever, do your version of it. Do your version of it. Use support, use a chair, use a wall, use your blocks. Okay, and look at how much further Ashley's right hip is now than when she started. So now from here, Ashley, I'm sorry to break up the party. You're gonna slide your hands beneath your shoulders. Inhale, tuck the toes of your left foot under. And then come right into a plank pose. Beautiful. And then bring your left knee to left wrist. Slide it forward. Left ankle over to your right wrist.
I don't know. Okay, got it.
Yep.
I'm
It's
so
okay.
relaxed.
That's okay. Untuck the toes of the right foot.
It's like,
Make a pillow for yourself.
what's a wrist? Okay.
Make a pillow for yourself. And just kind of like settle in again. We'll do the same thing. So she trusts herself more, so she's down even further on this side. Or maybe she's just more open on this side. So
No, I think it was like a trust thing, you know, or a competition thing between the sides. Because I definitely feel a much bigger stretch, but I'm just like letting gravity. I'm trusting that you know, I mean, there's a reason why we're tight, right? We're tight because we don't usually using our own body weight. We won't pull a muscle. So so I'm just like letting my entire body weight on my hip, saying, why hold back? I don't need to protect it.
That's
My
right.
hip is tight because it's already protecting itself, so I don't need to
Exactly.
add more tension. In
So-
fact, that will make it worse.
So you see how there's a little bit of space here? I'm gonna try to get this down an inch. Nope, without you doing anything. So I'm just gonna ask you to take a deep breath in, inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Imagine your sacrum dropping down. Beautiful. Inhale, and exhale. Good. And I bet you close the gap right there just a little bit. Maybe I got it down to half inch. Beautiful. And we're gonna let Ashley settle in here, take as much time as she needs. And pigeon pose is such an amazing pose. I can only do pigeon on one side for now. So I do it on my right side, I can't do it on my left. I do lizard on the left instead, which is another hip opener. And almost as relaxing as pigeon. I just have a messed up knee. So, and it's not from yoga, it's from before I even started my yoga journey. So just know, just because you can't do something on one side doesn't mean you can't do it on the other. Just breathe nice and easy. So it's almost like you can get a savasana in this type of pose. Inhale, fill the belly, ribs and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs and belly. Take a few more rounds of breath. exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. And then from here, slowly begin to slide the hands beneath the shoulders. And then from here, tuck the toes of the right foot under. And then actually exactly instinctively where you were going, leaning over to that side, it's perfect. And come into easy pose for a second, just for a moment. And then we're going to go from easy pose, we're going to go into a savasana. So just want you to take stock of what you did here, your experience for a moment, and then just take stock of it. How you moved your body, how we strengthened our legs, our core. And then from here, actually, exactly what you deserve after doing a nice hard practice with me here and letting me guide you into my favorite pose and confuse you and all that other stuff. Come onto your back and take your savasana. Beautiful. Bring your arms alongside you. Draw your feet to the width of the mat. Palms can be face up. And just begin to close your eyes or have a soft gaze. And just notice how you feel. Inhale, fill the belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale from the chest, ribs, and belly. Inhale, fill the belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Come back to our three-part yogic breath. Calming the mind, nourishing the spirit. Allowing the breath to be the bridge between the mind and body. Feeling the support of the earth beneath us so that we can fully surrender and let go. Parting our lips to relax the jaw. Softening the space between the eyebrows. Very slowly and very mindfully, begin to wiggle your fingertips and wiggle your toes. Gently, gently rotating the head from side to side. Planting your feet onto the earth and drawing your knees to chest. Giving yourself a nice big hug. And then coming over onto either the right or left side. Pressing yourself up into a seated position. just arriving back into your easy seat for a moment. Just noticing how you feel. Just notice. Notice how you feel. Closing your eyes, going inside, and just visualizing where you were and where you are now. Did you achieve your goals in this practice? Your intentions, were they met? Notice that even in a challenging pose such as chair pose, doing different variations and just goofing around a little bit with the pose and having fun, how playful we can be, even in challenging situations. And then very slowly draw the hands to heart center. You can keep the eyes closed or have a soft gaze. And then bow your chin to chest. Not in honor of me. You're not bowing to me. You're bowing to yourself. In honor of you taking the time to be here. Thanking all of the people around us that make this possible for us to be here. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for your time, Peter. Thank you so much to everyone on Teachable or on YouTube. Sorry, I'm so relaxed. I don't know what I'm saying. If you would like to do what Peter is doing, you too can teach for a cause. Karma yoga is the best kind of yoga. You can email yoga@ShareLove.Fund to be a karma yoga instructor, just as Peter was today, and teach for a cause. There is salvation and service to others. It just feels really good. Thank you so much. It also makes a huge, huge difference so that 100% of donor dollars go to programming the actual people that need it. And that's all possible because of our Teach for a Cause teachers. Thank you so much. I'm the founder and CEO. I work for free. I don't take a dime. I stretch every single donor dollar by leveraging it for corporate donations, grants, and so forth. So if you are looking for a cause to give to that has the highest degree of transparency and is GuideStar Platinum accredited every year we've been in business, we're the ones for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.